Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the gripping developments set to unfold in tomorrow's episode on Wednesday, November th. As Port Charles teeters on the edge of chaos, loyal viewers are bracing for a whirlwind of emotional revelations, shocking discoveries, and high stakes confrontations that could forever alter the lives of our favorite characters. From heart-wrenching medical emergencies to clandestine alliances forming in the shadows, this installment promises to deliver the intense drama that keeps fans glued to their screens week after week. Ned's devastating heart attack shakes the Quartermaine legacy in a moment that will leave audiences gasping. Ned Quartermaine endures a fiery clash with Cain, escalating into a brutal verbal assault that pushes the seasoned businessman over the brink. As tensions boil over during a heated boardroom dispute at ELQ Enterprises, Drew's cutting remarks about Ned's outdated leadership style strike a raw nerve, mocking his past decisions with ruthless precision. Suddenly, Ned clutches his chest, his face paling as he collapses to the polished marble floor, his body convulsing in the throes of a severe heart attack. The Quartermaine mansion, usually a bastion of opulent stability, transforms into a scene of pandemonium as family members rush to his side, dialing emergency services while whispers of foul play begin to circulate among the staff. This incident not only highlights the deep-seated rivalries within the powerful Quartermaine dynasty, but also raises tantalizing questions about Drew's role. Did his provocation contribute to this near-fatal event? Or is there a darker family secret at play, involving hidden health issues Ned has concealed for years? As paramedics arrive with sirens blaring through the foggy Port Charles night, the episode delves into the fragility of power, showing how one unguarded moment can unravel empires built over decades. Medical experts in the storyline consult on Ned's prognosis, revealing potential complications from stress-induced cardiac arrest, forcing viewers to ponder if this collapse signals the end of an era, or a catalyst for unlikely reconciliations among feuding relatives. Brook Lynn's relentless pursuit of truth targets Chase's hidden agenda. Brook Lynn Quartermaine, ever the fierce protector of her loved ones, launches into a furious confrontation that exposes cracks in the foundation of Harrison Chase's seemingly impeccable life as a detective, fueled by a tip from Dante Falconer at the bustling Port Charles Police Department. Brook Lynn storms into Chase's precinct office, her eyes blazing with suspicion as she demands a full explanation for his 3 covert visits to Willow Tait behind bars. These clandestine meetings, shrouded in secrecy, have sparked vicious rumors across town, painting Chase as a man torn between duty and dangerous temptation. Whispers suggest Willow's vulnerability has snared him, leading to late-night confessions that blur professional boundaries. Brook Lynn's interrogation uncovers layers of Chase's internal conflict. As a devoted husband, he risks not only his marriage to the fiery Sasha Gilmore, but also his hard-earned badge, with internal affairs now sniffing around for any sign of misconduct. The scene intensifies as Brook Lynn pieces together fragments of evidence: a hurried phone call overheard, a suspicious receipt from the prison cafeteria. Realizing that Chase's good guy facade might be crumbling under the weight of Willow's manipulative charm. This subplot weaves in themes of loyalty and betrayal, analyzing how personal desires can sabotage careers in a high-pressure world like law enforcement, where one misplaced trust could lead to demotions, scandals, or even expulsion from the force. As Brook Lynn presses for answers, the episode hints at broader implications, suggesting her probe might inadvertently drag other Corinthos family members into the fray, amplifying the stakes in Port Charles' intricate web of alliances. Charlotte's perilous scheme involves young allies in a high-risk gambit. Teen sensation. Charlotte Casadini with her signature blend of youthful audacity and Casadini cunning sets her latest dangerous plan into motion, enlisting the unwitting aid of Rocco Falconeri and Danny Morgan in a plot that teeters dangerously close to catastrophe. In a dimly lit corner of the park overlooking the harbor, Charlotte gathers her recruits, her voice laced with urgent determination as she outlines the scheme. A daring infiltration of a restricted warehouse, tied to her family's shadowy dealings, aimed at retrieving a stolen artifact that could expose Victor Cassidon's lingering influence. For this to succeed, it'll take every bit of courage from all three of us, she declares in a preview clip, her eyes sparkling with mischief while masking the peril ahead. And be known to the boys. The mission involves dodging security patrols and navigating booby-trapped carters where a single misstep could alert dangerous operatives. Rocco, still grappling with his own family dramas, and Danny, eager to prove his street smarts amid his parents' turbulent lives, dive in with naive enthusiasm, but subtle hints of doubt flicker across their faces as Charlotte reveals forged IDs and a makeshift gadget for bypassing locks. This narrative arc dissects the allure of rebellion in adolescence, exploring how Charlotte's inherited manipulative traits from her Casadini lineage propel her toward recklessness, potentially endangering her young comrades and drawing the eye of protective figures like Dante and Sam. The episode builds suspense through close calls such as a near miss with patrolling guards, underscoring the theme that youthful adventures in Port Charles often spiral into life-altering consequences, forcing characters to confront the blurred line between thrill-seeking and true peril. Michael's ruthless declaration ignites Nina's worst fears. Michael Corinthos delivers a chilling confession that sends shockwaves through Nina Reeves, boasting with icy confidence about his ironclad strategy to ensure Willow Tait remains imprisoned indefinitely. In a tense tit at the Metro Court Hotel's lavish lounge, Michael leans in close, his voice dripping with satisfaction as he reveals, by the time visitation rights come into play, Willow will be locked up for good, no appeals, no loopholes. This bombshell stems from Michael's calculated moves behind the scenes, including leveraging his business connections to bury evidence that could exonerate Willow, all while allowing his children brief, supervised encounters with Nina to maintain a facade of civility. Still reeling from the puzzling warmth Michael showed toward her interactions with the kids, feels a gut punch of betrayal, her mind racing through the implications. Michael's vendetta against Willow, rooted in years of resentment over her deceptions, now threatens to sever family ties permanently, painting him as a cold tactician willing to sacrifice Relationships for revenge. The dialogue crackles with unspoken history as Michael details his airtight legal maneuvers, hiring top prosecutors and fabricating alibis that could extend Willow's sentence, analyzing how his Corinthos' ruthlessness mirrors Sonny's legacy, but with a sharper, more personal edge. This confrontation not only heightens the drama between these exes, but also foreshadows explosive fallout as Nina grapples with whether to fight back through journalism exposes or seek alliances with unlikely Quartermaine supporters, turning personal grudges into a citywide scandal. Emma and Joe's spine-chilling find ties loose ends. Emma, Scorpio Drake and Giovanni Joe Palmieri stumble upon a horrifying discovery that sends chills through Port Charles, potentially linking directly to Ned's collapse and amplifying the episode's overarching tension. As the young duo explores the dimly lit corridors of the Quartermaine estate during a late night errand, they hear labored gasps echoing from the study, leading them to the crumpled form of Ned on the floor, his pulse faint and erratic amid scattered papers from his argument with Drew. Emma, drawing on her medical family background, springs into action, performing CPR while Joe frantically calls for help, their faces etched with terror as they realize the gravity of the situation. Blood stains on Ned's shirt suggests not just a heart issue, but possible tampering with his medication, hinting at sabotage. This pivotal moment dissects the theme of unintended consequences, showing how Emma's sharp instincts and Joe's quick thinking might save a life, yet expose deeper conspiracies involving corporate espionage at ELQ. The discovery propels the plot forward, with the pair becoming key witnesses, their testimony potentially swaying investigations into whether Drew's taunts were mere words or part of a larger scheme, while forging a budding alliance between the teens amid the chaos. Lulu's vulnerable confession to Olivia strengthens bonds. Lulu. Spencer seeks solace in Olivia Quartermaine, opening up about her innermost turmoil in a heartfelt exchange that underscores the healing power of friendship amid crisis. Seated on the balcony of the Quartermaine boat house with the harbor lights twinkling below, Lulu pours out her struggles with co-parenting, career setbacks, and lingering doubts about her place in Port Charles after years away. Her voice breaking as she admits the fear of losing more family. Olivia, ever the maternal figure with her no-nonsense wisdom, listens intently before offering a comforting embrace, sharing anecdotes from her own battles with loss to remind Lulu that vulnerability is strength. This intimate scene analyzes the restorative role of female solidarity in the soap's world, where emergencies like Ned's health scare draw strange loved ones closer, potentially paving the way for Lulu's deeper involvement in upcoming family plots. As tears flow, the conversation hints at collaborative efforts to support Ned's recovery, blending emotional depth with hints of strategic planning against external threats. Britt's escalating panic and Liz's uneasy dilemma. Britt Westman spirals into full-blown panic, her composure shattering as whispers of an impending threat reach her ears, forcing her to confront ghosts from her secretive past. Pacing the sterile halls of General Hospital, Britt overhears fragments of a conversation about tampered patient records. Her mind flashing to her own hidden medical history and the Casadini ties that could unravel everything. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Liz Baldwin grows increasingly unsettled. During a candid talk with Lucas Jones in the hospital cafeteria, voicing concerns over his bold life choices, Lucas, undeterred, affirms his willingness to take risks, specifically alluding to shacking up with Marco Rios despite the potential for heartbreak or professional backlash in their close-knit medical community. This exchange probes themes of personal freedom versus caution, with Liz's unease stemming from her own romantic missteps, while Lucas's determination adds layers to his character arc, suggesting a storyline where love defies odds in Port Charles' judgmental society. Dandy's urgent call to action at the precinct. Dante Falconeri rallies the troops at the police station, declaring an all-hands-on-deck emergency that mobilizes the entire force against brewing threats. With maps and files strewn across his desk, Dante briefs the team on interconnected incidents, from Charlotte's escapades to Chase's irregularities, emphasizing the need for vigilance as Port Charles edges toward anarchy. This high-energy sequence highlights Dandy's leadership prowess, analyzing how his detective instincts weave disparate clues into a cohesive strategy, potentially averting disasters that could engulf the town. Next, we will learn about the chilling developments surrounding Britt Westman as her battle with Huntington's disease takes a terrifying turn this week. In the latest twists on General Hospital, Britt Westman faces her deepest nightmares coming to life as the experimental treatment that's kept her Huntington's in check begins to falter under mysterious circumstances. The sinister Jen Sidwell had already issued a chilling ultimatum, dangling the promise of her vital medication over her head to force compliance with his shadowy demands at the enigmatic Five Poppies organization. But now, whispers of something far more insidious emerge. Could the cure itself be failing? Or has it been sabotaged from within? This revelation unfolds amid heightened tensions in Port Charles, where Britt's professional life as the newly appointed head of the lab at Port Charles University adds layers of irony and risk, positioning her as both a leader and a vulnerable target. Viewers are on the edge of their seats as Britt navigates this dual existence, balancing her authoritative role in medical research with the personal horror of her genetic legacy unraveling. The stakes couldn't be higher, especially with Pascal, Sidwell's cunning accomplice, lurking undetected in town under the guise of an unassuming butler at the foreboding Winder estate, pulling strings from the shadows. The episode's pivotal moment arrives when Jason Morgan, ever the observant enforcer, catches a subtle yet alarming clue during a candid conversation with Britt at the bustling General Hospital Carters. As they discuss recent upheavals in their lives, Jason's ongoing vendettas and Britt's strained family dynamics is sharp. Eyes zero in on her trembling hand, a classic early symptom of Huntington's disease that had mercifully stayed dormant thanks to her regimen of injections. This wasn't just any casual chat. It occurred right after a tense intrusion by young Rocco Falconeri, who burst into Britt's private office unannounced, nearly catching her mid-administration of the life-sustaining shot into her abdomen. The scene is charged with emotion, the sterile Hospital air thick with unspoken fears. As Britt fumbles to compose herself. Earlier that day, her late brother, Nathan West's lingering advice echoes in her mind, a heartfelt plea to mend fences with Rocco's family and keep her distance to avoid further heartache. Britt brushes off the interruption to Jason as mere surprise, her voice laced with vulnerability as she confesses her terror that her sharp reaction might have severed her bond with Rocco for good, especially after years of navigating the complexities of her role as his biological mother. Yet Jason, undeterred by her deflection, presses gently on the shaking, his brow furrowing with genuine concern. He recalls how the medication, a cutting-edge experimental formula developed in secretive labs, had granted her remission for what felt like a fragile eternity. In this intimate exchange, Jason's perceptiveness shines, hinting at deeper troubles brewing beneath Britt's poised exterior, and it plants the seed of doubt that her hard-won stability might be slipping away. This interaction not only deepens their unlikely alliance, but also underscores the relentless progression of Huntington's, a neurodegenerative beast that spares no one, turning everyday gestures into harbingers of doom. As the drama intensifies on Tuesday, November Britt's composure cracks under an onslaught of panic that grips her like a vice, potentially triggered by the escalating tremor in her hand or an unforeseen confrontation tied to her lab duties. While the show teases alternative catalysts, perhaps a heated clash with colleagues at PCU or echoes of Sidwell's threats resurfacing, the physical manifestation of her condition steals the spotlight, worsening to the point where it disrupts her precise work with test tubes and data logs. Britt, a brilliant physician accustomed to diagnosing crises in others, finds herself blindsided, her mind racing as she dismisses the initial shake as a fleeting adrenaline rush from Rocco's unexpected visit. After all, she just completed her injection moments before the door flew open, the needle's prick still fresh on her skin, a ritual she's perfected over several years of relying on this unproven but miraculous therapy. The experimental nature of the cure adds a poignant layer sourced from underground research tied to the 5 Poppy's clandestine operations. It's been her lifeline, suppressing the gene's cruel advance with each dose. But now as the shakes intensify during a routine consultation, Britt's panic surges like a tidal wave. She envisions the disease's inexorable march. Corium movements overtaking her steady hands. Cognitive fog clouding her sharp intellect, and the emotional toll mirroring her mother's tragic decline. In her frenzy, she overlooks Sidwell's ominous earlier query about the medicine's efficacy, his words laced with veiled menace about his control over its supply chain. Desperate for clarity, Britt resolves to confront the uncertainty hidden, contemplating self-administered tests in the dead of night within the PCU lab's secure confines. This internal turmoil reveals her resilient spirit. A woman who once wielded power ruthlessly, now humbled by biology, yet determined to reclaim agency. The scene builds suspense masterfully with close-ups on her quivering fingers symbolizing the fragility of her control, leaving fans dissecting every frame for clues about the cure's true betrayal. By week's end, the hammer falls as Britt's harrowing self-diagnosis in the dimly lit PCU lab confirms her gravest suspicions. The Huntington's treatment has lost its potency, plunging her into a vortex of despair she never anticipated. Huddled over medical equipment she's commandeered for personal use. Blood analyzers humming softly. Genetic sequencers warring through data. Britt uncovers irrefutable evidence that the remission is crumbling with biomarkers spiking in ways that scream progression. Yet in her isolation, she misses the elaborate deception at play. Unbeknownst to her, Sidwell and Pascal have orchestrated a ruthless switch, replacing her genuine vials with inert placebos to tighten their grip on her. Obedience at the 5 poppies. This manipulation exploits her dependency, turning her own body into a weapon against her will, a psychological warfare tactic that echoes the organization's history of exploiting vulnerabilities for gain. Pascal's covert presence in Port Charles amplifies the intrigues embedded seamlessly as Sidwell's butler at Windermere, serving tea by day while plotting medical sabotage by night. His elegant demeanor masking a venomous agenda. Britt empowered in her lab directorship ironically has access to resources that could expose the fraud. But fear paralyzes her from scrutinizing the medication itself without the proprietary formula. Guarded like a state secret by her captors, testing it feels like an insurmountable hurdle. Her oversight stems from sheer terror. The emotional weight of Huntington's, inherited from her domineering mother, Lisa Lawbridge, has always loomed as a familiar curse, and now it threatens to eclipse her hard-fought redemption arc. As results flash on the screen, Britt collapses into a chair, tears streaming, grappling with visions of a future stolen, professional exile from the lab. She cherishes fractured relationships with Jason and Maxie, and the haunting isolation of a mind and body in revolt. This confirmation isn't just medical. It's a narrative pivot, forcing Britt to weigh alliances, secrets, and survival. In Port Charles' treacherous web, where trust is as fleeting as her cures effects, fans are left reeling, pondering if Jason's intuition will lead to salvation, or if Sidwell's web will ensnare her completely.